What's good, everybody? It's Batman. So today we're just going to be doing the final part for the whole scaling for Sasuke, by the way, for part 1, and where he just basically falls under overall. And as you know, I'll make sure to post the other videos in the link in the description. Basically, the first video we made, which is the long version, which is a full analysis and fully dissecting everything about Sasuke. So if you guys want to see that, once again, that'll be in the description down below and for this video. I'll also post part 1 and part 2 for the short version for the Naruto analysis of Sasuke scaling. I'm going to kind of make it way more shorter and summarize it in a nutshell for you guys. This way, if you're not wanting to watch the long version, you can watch the shorter versions. This is the final part for the short version. So basically, what we're going to be talking about, the only thing I did not mention and bring up for you guys when it came to the whole Sasuke scaling is the DATABOOK stats as well. So I just kind of wanted to show you that. So like as of here, you can clearly see like it shows where his stats are. Like, and then these are like these symbols in the right corner should basically show like, you know, can correlate to like speed, strength, etc. yada yada. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys that as well. This way you were aware. And when it comes to Sasuke's like DATABOOK stats, his ninjutsu is 0.5. Not 0.5. I'm over here tripping. I'm reading someone else's stats. So his ninjutsu is 3.5, taijutsu is 2.5, genjutsu 1.5, intelligence 2.5, strength 3, speed 3.5. So that's generally what you're working with. While for Lee, okay, on the other hand, for Rock Lee, or I can eventually take a look at Neji's stats as well. But when it comes to Lee, okay, his stats, okay, for taijutsu it's 4, and for speed is 4, and strength 3.5. And once again, the most interesting element of this is we don't really know, like, it's very vague. We don't know, like, whether if these are the stats for them in base, or if this is the stats of them at their full max power, like full transformations and whatnot. Now, what I can safely deduce is that it's more than likely their base stats because of, once again, it just, with all the feats that we have, statements, and like, you know, and how basically how far it can kind of go out to, and it would have to correlate to their base stats. And the reason why is because whenever it shows like the character, it shows like their base form. It doesn't show like him in 5th gate or anything like that. Same thing for Sasuke as well. So like basically it just makes sense for it to be clearly referring to their base forms. And that's just basically what you're working with, you know. And it makes sense because even for Naruto, like his stats generally just stay the same throughout or similar, and we do know his QB amps and whatnot is just way more, and he's way more stronger in base as well. So there's plenty of stuff to kind of deduce that would be the case. And so then when you obviously incorporate like the transformations, whether if it's a QB amp or the Gates amps, or you know, or Sasuke's like, you know, curse mark transformation amps, you know, also with like his Chidori speed amp too. When you have all that to put into consideration, then obviously the stats kind of go from there. But basically the reason why I wanted to kind of show you guys this information and why it's relevant is at the end of the day, when it comes to the stats, like Neji and Lee have always been over Sasuke as well when it comes to DATABOOK stats. And that's just referring base to base, you know what I mean? Like comparable, not like even with like their full transformations, you know, once again, Sasuke with the curse mark and then Lee with the gates, you know? So like when you have things like that, it kind of just goes to show, like, then, you know, give their transformations, and then we don't really have any quantification with the transformations, right? So the only thing we can really do is basically, you know, analyze their feats and other statements, and the feats and statements that we have clearly correlates and proves where they would fall under when it comes to scaling, you know? So, and that's just basically all you're working with. And as for, like, Neji, you know, I mean, him as a character, okay, his stats, you know, for taijutsu is 4.5, and speed is 4, and strength is 2.5. That's what you're working with him. So when it comes to like their stats in comparison from the DATABOOK stats, which remind you is Kishimoto providing this information, okay, even Neji and Lee are over Sasuke. You know what I mean? So meaning correlating that information when they were to do the transformations, they would also be over as well. So, you know, they would still be over when it comes to stats, and even the feats and statements support that as well, you know, especially if you analyze you know, all the feats that Sasuke has against base Naruto and against QB Naruto, correlating that to Kimamaru against Naruto, then correlating Naruto against the Sound 4, including Sasuke as well, then correlating that to Lee's performance against Kimamaru, correlating Neji's performance against the Spider-Man dude as well, and him being stated the strongest getting out of all, which would include Naruto, Shikamaru, and Kiba. Toji was the only one that not there, so that's fair to exclude him, but you get what I'm saying. So overall, like, that's just kind of all the information you have, and to kind of deduce, the main notion that stats wise for these characters, they would also still be above. And that's just, once again, to further establish the notion that Lee, including someone like Neji as well, would be scaling over these certain individuals as characters, and that even though they do get a big amp of power because of the chakra and everything you're getting, why not? Once again, because their chakra control being shit, they're not able to make full use of it, and that's why they basically just can't pull it off at the end of the day. And that's just basically what you're working with, and there's really nothing more else to go into. And that's why it's not a significant amp. It just basically, the only perks they really get from it is either the jutsus being more stronger, or or when it comes to like Naruto, like the chakra cloak and range attacks, etc., etc. So that's all you're really working with. So I really kind of want to put that out there and kind of go to show you guys that, and once again, we can basically just further establish that the max that they could be able to scale with the feats that we have and statements. Okay, they're just one-tail Naruto and Sasuke with all his curse mark transformations. They're just not scaling the 5th gate elite. They're not even scaling the fucking to 2nd gate. It's just not happening. It would be 1st gate bare minimum, and with everything that we do have, there's just no way to contest against that. Like, you could definitely make arguments otherwise. The only best thing Sasuke really has to further upscale him to get him surpassing 5th gate or to equal to that level, whatever, is once again, like, mainly narrative analysis that you can kind of do in a way, or like to basically like take certain statements that are vague and interpret them in a certain direction and just upscale from there. You can do things like that, but once again, that's just interpretations and playing possibility, territory type vibes. And if you can't prove that or anything, etc., and it can just be equally interpreted as something else, the whole 9 yards, etc., etc., and better yet, have feats to contradict that line of scaling and anti-feats, you name it, it just does not go through and it just doesn't work, period. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there for you guys. This is going to just be a really short video and kind of just bring that out. That was mainly the last thing I could really show you guys. The only other thing I really didn't show as well, this way you guys are aware, is like to basically prove the whole thing or to debunk the whole argument that people actually believe Sasuke's durability scales to Chidori, which is just kind of crazy. But I just want to kind of put that out there, and I'll even show that for you as well. So let me actually get that for you guys. Actually, it should be in this text channel. It actually might not. I actually might have to pull it elsewhere, but hopefully it's in here. That would be nice, Alright, it was in here. Cool. So, like, right here, guys, like, just to show that his durability doesn't scale to Chidori either, like, you can literally see just, like, the lightning chakra and everything, like, literally making his hand bleed, and you name it. And not only that, like, when he fights against Gaara, like, when he punches the sand, everything, it cuts him up, makes him bleed. His knuckles are bleeding and bruised, while with Chidori can go right through. Then you have Kabuto, who literally scales to Kakashi, while Naruto can use a Rising Gun and fuck him up. And so once again, clearly going to show that if the Rising Gun can be able to damage someone like in the caliber like Kabuto or aka Kakashi, that clearly they don't have the durability to withstand Rising Guns and Raikuris. That's just absolutely insane. And then most importantly, like, there's just plenty, and I mean plenty, of anti-durability feats that Sasuke has, where he's bleeding from V1 Gaara, bleeding from Gaara's sand attacks while in base, bleeding from base Naruto, bleeding from Lee in base, weighted, mind you. There's just so much anti-durability feats, it's not even fucking funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane to really sit here and think that they have god tier durability to withstand fucking Chidori attacks or Rising Gun attacks. That's just absolutely insane. People do believe in that, but I just kind of wanted to immediately debunk that. I don't know why people believe that, but it's just a thing that always happens and goes on. And that's just kind of what you're working with. Better yet, even someone like Itachi, grabbed Sasuke's, arm and everything, and literally, like, instead of just letting him, like, hit him, like, he didn't, like, flex to where he can have enough durability to withstand a fucking Chidori. You know what I mean? So, like, even somebody like Itachi, out of all people, was like, yeah, I'm just gonna grab that and not get hit by that. So, like, and then none of that, there's plenty of other characters that literally are getting damaged and hurt by the Rising Gun, so it's like everybody gets fucked up by the Rising Gun or Raikuri. There's not a single person that survives shit like that. They get fucked up from it, and then you even have characters like, Minato and Pain, etc., Kakazu, the whole 9 yards, everybody, even Madara and Hashirama too, to where, like, they're getting hurt by, certain amount of things and whatnot. Now, technically, Madara and Hashirama, they actually are built different. That's a poor example to bring up, but But the majority of the Naruto characters just don't have insane durability. You know what I mean? They're just not up there. So unless you have like KCM2 and shit, you know, or KCM, things like that, you know, or V2 cloak armor, or you're like Hashirama and Madara, you ain't having no crazy durability. It's as simple as that. But I really want to bring that up for you guys and just kind of show you. But as always, that'll basically be it for this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe for more content, subscribe if you guys love the channel. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.